morning, everybody. Happy Saturday. In what some consider the last official weekend of summer, let the weekend begin. I'm gonna change direction so this sun is out of everyone's eye. What is up, everybody? It's Saturday morning. I haven't even fished yet. It's 7:20 already. I've been driving around. I got my new units pretty well dialed in. And the couple spots I fished yesterday had been both my good spots, and I did not see yesterday or do what I have done for the last 2 months in these spots. Just put that out there. Now the sun's right in my eyes. We can't win here. Beautiful Saturday morning. I'm looking for structure. I'm on structure. I've been mapping a new area, and I have found a pocket of fish. I wanted to see if there was any other interesting structure that I wanted to go and fish, but I did find them. So I'm heading back up there right now to go actually start fishing and see start getting the things dialed in. Live scope will be here middle of this coming week, and then we'll start dealing with that. Big deal. That'll be game changer. So, all right, I'll talk to everybody soon. What's up? Good morning, everybody. So I'm winding down my morning. I just switched spots. I started my morning. I've been on two different pieces of structure. We had a somewhat decent east wind this morning. It was a little northeast, then it was a little southeast. Perfect drift, 1/2 mile an hour. I don't know if it was enough to set fish up. I think that any wind will set fish up. I check the upwind side of structure when I start. You can find them anywhere, but I always start looking on the upwind side. This morning I got to the spot I wanted to fish. There were already boats there. I saw a friend of mine, Mike Casano, by 81 when I was coming out this morning. I sat and chatted with him for a while, and I was in no rush. No, not a big deal. I don't own a spot or anything like that. But so when I got to where I wanted to be, there was 2 boats already there. So I said, all right. I turned on the quick draw contour on my map, and I started looking on still the windward side, but a little farther down where the wind was quartering onto the structure as opposed to going right straight onto it. And I did some graphing, and I personally enjoy driving and graphing because it gives me that much more confidence once I've graphed an area. Not just looking for fish, but when I say graph, I'm talking the quick draw contours on the Garmins that I have. All the other brands have them. It's where you're overwriting the map with real-time sonar data. So when I'm mapping, I'm giving the data it saves into my map of exactly what the bottom looks like. Not a close facsimile from a map, on software. I'm going over actual spots and getting the data firsthand of what it actually is. And to me, and again, all 3 brands have these features. I just have Garmin. I will say that I think that is the single biggest positive change that I've done in my fishing life with electronics, certainly in the last year. When I started doing that, it was addicting because I wanted to go see, boy, is there other little humps, and how much of a piece of structure, how big does it have to be before it counts, before it's really a magnet? Well, it depends on where it is. If you've got 20, if you've got flat 20 all the way around, then you've got a little rock pile in the middle of it, that's a big time magnet. You're in an area where there's a ton of structure all over the place, then you got to start playing your high percentages, but you still got to know exactly where that structure is and how it lays out according to what wind you have at that any given moment coming onto it. So no matter what the wind, when I pull up to a piece of structure, you instantly know which side's the windward side, and you start looking around. But I want to know the crooks and crannies. Everything theoretically is a community hole. On any body of water you're on, there's very few bodies of water in today's day and age, between technology, exposure, all of those things. There's very few hidden gem secret spots anymore. Everything's a community hole. But are you there when the community's there? Are you there? Does it hold fish in other times where people might not realize? Do you find the spot within a spot that really gets you dialed in? You have spot lock nowadays, forward-facing sonar, side imaging, down imaging, all your electronics talk to each other. It's really quite the amazing system. But you still got to go find them. You still got to know where to look for them. You can look in the wrong place with all the electronics you want. You're going to show nothing, because you'd be like, my electronics must not work. Well, they work just fine. You put them in a spot where there was nothing to see. So you got to go find, you got to think like a fish, you got to go find where they are, and then figure out what they want, how they want it, and then really dial them in. That's the fun. That's the whole fun of fishing. Now, I switched. So the last 2 days, my structure spots that have been so good for so long, I don't know if they've dried up. I don't know. I haven't hit them hard and fast. First light now in the last 2 days, because I've been messing around with all my new gadgets and pushing buttons and touching things, and quit playing with your dinghy. Well, it's my dinghy. I'll play with it if I want to. But I had a few minutes left, and I wanted to come out and check this spot. Mike Urema turned me onto it yesterday. I came over. I caught 3 right off the bat. I came over just now today and had one on. First cast, lost it. Turned you guys on. And now I'm not seeing them here right at the moment. I'm a little farther north than I wanted to be. But these fish are on a flat, and fish that are on flats are nomads. They're looking for bait because it's a flat by nature. This whole big area is about 25 to 27 feet deep, pretty featureless. So that is what you would call a flat. These big areas that are fairly level bottom, typically soft bottom, mud, sometimes sand, can be very fertile, but can be fertile all over the place. You could have bug hatches, you could have schools of bait out here, perch, shiners, all, whatever the case may be. My point is, these fish on flats, trollers have been smashing them on flats all summer long because they're trolling. They're covering so much water nonstop. A jigger on the flats right now, unless these fish are right in tight schools, it's tough. That's why I've been fishing structure, because the structure consolidates what's in your area. When you find the good spot, when you find the sweet spot, if you guys have seen me all summer long, every day, 10, 15, 20 bites, or more, depending on how many people there are. There's one, 8, 10 something small perch, goby, 8, 10 keepers a day, poich. That's the Awakening Angler Gold on Gold Signature Series from I1 Baits. So that's the difference between a flat and structure. Fish can be consolidated on flats, no question. But you typically have to cover a lot of it to find a concentration of them. Structure, it's pretty small areas that you can look through fairly quickly, or fish just get in there and fish them fairly quickly, because structure, it's here, goes up, down, whatever, and there's a couple sweet spots in it that you might drift over 10 times or spot lock or something like that on. These flats can be longer drifts. I typically fish more blade baits out in the open flat areas too, because I think that vibration tends to bring them from greater distances to check it out, because they're roaming. Again, on structure, I tend to think fish that are tight on structure react better to reaction baits, which would be snapping something. Plastics, hair, shiver minnows, like that. And it's a tight window, so you got to get them to do it now. So if they're sitting on that edge and they're not moving, they're sitting there waiting for that wind current to blow something up to them, they see what you got, and boom, it's right in front of them, and you might only be there for one jig, maybe two, and you got to get them to go right then and there. And so that snapping motion, whatever, short circuits something in their brain, and they don't have hands. All they have is a mouth, and they go, home, just like that. I don't know what you are, but I don't like it, and I'm gonna smash you. Okay. So now, for me, seemingly, things have changed in these last couple days. I was out Monday with Paul and Don. We had a southwest wind. We were over drifting off the edge of the pancake, and they were there right from the first cast, just like they have been for 3-4 weeks now. Yesterday morning I didn't go right there. See, I stopped over to 130 and looked at a couple spots, caught a fish, so I stayed. You never know. What's it matter if you go one place and catch a ton? What's it matter what place it is? I don't know. But I went there because I thought there would be fish there. But now all of a sudden these other spots cooled off. And yesterday I even went over and checked a couple of those spots on Dakin where I was for a month and a half before I pulled the boat. And I didn't see them where they were. I didn't spend a ton of time to go look for them, but I fished a couple of the high percentage spots that statistically had been high percentage every day when I was there in different wind directions. And they didn't seem to be there either. So the search is on. I think the first time I've got guests that aren't my lovely wife is going to be Monday morning, guests in the new boat. So we got to have something figured out by then. We got to get out there and smash them. So, all right. That'll do it for today. Got something special going on this afternoon. You guys will all see what's happening. And I will talk to you at some point later. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you like what I do here, if you watch on a daily basis, please take a moment and subscribe. It means a lot, a tremendous amount to me. It shows the support. It makes me get up every morning and go catch fish for you. You. I catch fish for you. Well, that's not true. I catch them for me. But I show you, and I do my best to help everybody get a little bit more joy out of fishing. Catch a few more fish, look at things a little differently. Different techniques, different places, different ways. Nothing is ever one thing all the time. It just isn't. It just isn't. So, I will leave you on that note. Thank you, everybody. Have a great Saturday, and I will see you soon. Ooh. Keep your tip up.